Of the entire Jeep line, the Wrangler is perhaps the most fashionable and the most archaic. But for all its brutality, the Wrangler has never been a model of reliability. What awaits the owner of the latest version, denoted by the JK index? As a descendant of the legendary Willis military Jeep, which went into civilian life with the abbreviation CJ, the Jeep Wrangler has gained immense popularity since its introduction in 1986. Relatively inexpensive, with a catchy appearance and excellent off-road performance, the Wrangler first became fashionable among young people, and then became a cult car for fans of the brand. The current generation JK was born in 2007. Its release was accompanied by an unheard-of sensation, the appearance of a long-wheelbase 5-door version called Unlimited. Against this background, its main advantage, a reinforced chassis and transmission, remained in the shadows, and even the manufacturer did not focus on this. In addition, if earlier only gasoline engines were offered for the Wrangler, inline 6 and 4, then they began to install a gasoline V6 or diesel R4 on the JK. Powerful, 200 liters. Width, V6 with a working volume of 3.8 liters, an engine with a torque of 321 Nm is quite appropriate here. Despite the external compactness, even a 2-door Wrangler weighs about 2 tons. Nevertheless, its dynamics are impressive. On this car it is not difficult even to jump over an obstacle. On the other hand, the 2.8-liter 4-cylinder inline turbo diesel produced by VM Motori, the Italian division of Mercedes-Benz, with a common rail control system, which allows you to get a maximum torque of 460 Nm and a power of 177 horsepower, has won a lot of fans. Width. This engine gives the Wrangler almost more agility than its gas counterpart. Do JK engines have problems? Perhaps not, rather, there are nuances, especially for diesel versions. For example, when driving through dust and mud, it is necessary to change the air filter very often, if necessary, even once every 2 to 3 weeks. But such a simple solution usually does not even occur to the owner when the engine power of his Jeep suddenly drops by almost 2.5 times. On the contrary, an expensive search for reasons begins, which then becomes public on the internet. If the Wrangler acts as a weekend car, you should very carefully monitor the amount of diesel fuel, not allowing its level in the tank to drop to less than half. This will prevent condensation from forming in the fuel system. Of course, you should not save on replacing the fuel filter. Otherwise, ice crystals and solid particles get into the moving parts of the pump, causing irreversible damage. Replacing the injection pump will cost 60,000 rubles. As for the gasoline engine, low-quality fuel can cause a lot of trouble here. Only the solution is less sensitive to the wallet, especially if you do not change the entire fuel system assembly, as dealers like to offer, but the fuel pump. With the removal and flushing of the tank, the procedure will cost 8 to 12,000 rubles. The solution to the problem of unstable operation of the lambda probe smells of tangible money, and there are 2 of them in the exhaust system. The question often arises after the first winter. Active road reagents settle on unprotected sensors. In order not to change the lambda probe annually, observe hygiene. If the roads are slushy, wash the car not only from above, but also from below. Well, if tanks are not afraid of dirt, then prepare from 3,000 to 5,000 rubles for the sensor, plus money for the work of replacing and diagnosing the reasons for the uneven operation of the internal combustion engine. It is worth noting that all the electronics in this car are quite sensitive to external influences, and when various errors and alarm messages such as check engine appear, it is worth checking the status of the connections and contacts. For example, ABS sensors come off or rot away already at 30,000 kilometers, and a fashionable system of tire pressure sensors becomes a common reason for contacting service stations, where, after fighting the incorrect operation of the system, they often have to be turned off under warranty. The unstable operation of the crankshaft position sensor spoils the statistics of engine uptime. The solution to the problem is actions to remove the error, 1,400 rubles, plus the cost of the sensor. A reliable 6-speed manual gives room for off-road creativity and competitiveness at traffic light starts. The gears are short, easy to switch, except that you have to apply considerable effort to move in reverse. Automatics, 5-speed for diesel and 6-speed for gasoline engines, do an excellent job with highway and off-road tasks and have no operational complaints. All-wheel drive is connected without differential, and the MP241J transfer case is characterized by high transmission torque, due to the use of 6-pinion gears in the planetary gear, and high operational reliability. Long-term and trouble-free operation of the unit depends on the timely control of the oil level. When it is low, the drive chain stretches, which is manifested by clicks during starting or acceleration. Replacing the transfer case chain will cost from 15,000 rubles for labor plus the cost of the chain. It is also very important to remember that the plug-in all-wheel drive, and even more so the lower gears, should be used only as needed, off-road. A transmission so common for JK is a violation of the integrity of the anther of the propeller shaft spline connection, which manifests itself even at low runs, regardless of the severity of operation. In addition, already with a run of 50,000 kilometers, it is necessary to change the crosses of the front axle shafts. To extend their service life, every 10,000 kilometers it is necessary to extrude the crosses, in the presence of grease fittings. The suspension on the JK is significantly softer than its predecessor, especially on the 4-door Unlimited. Massive longitudinal rods of the front suspension inspire respect and are practically indestructible. The rear 5-link dependent suspension is also reliable and massive. The levers go at least 100,000 kilometers, even with hard use. What cannot be said about the rear shock absorbers? Relatives fly out after 20 to 30,000 kilometers, especially with a contemptuous attitude towards speed bumps. Usually, replacing standard shock absorbers with products of well-established brands significantly increases the service life. Almost unchanged in appearance, the body of the SUV has undergone a number of design changes. The windshield, which is still tilted forward, has a subtle curve that has a positive effect on aerodynamics. The front bumper, for the sake of safety, has become more massive and prominent forward. Removable doors are suspended on external hinges. Removable hard plastic top with some effort, and at least 2 people can be replaced with a light rubberized awning. Consumables, plastic wing extensions, which rarely return from travel intact. Inside, the cabin has become more spacious and comfortable. But in the version with mechanics, it is felt that the pedal assembly is narrow, and the pleasant-looking plastic of the cabin is already, after 40 to 50,000 kilometers, begins to make various rustles and sounds, which is treated only by increasing the volume of the music. A familiar, but by no means a penny procedure, 3,000 rubles, will be the replacement of the backlight for automatic transmission switching modes, which often burns out or is filled with the contents of glasses. As you can see, the young generation of Wrangler is still performing quite well. Its main disadvantage as a used car is a small selection in the secondary market. Sales of this cult model in Russia are quite modest, and Wrangler owners, as a rule, are in no hurry to part with their toys.